What's up, everyone? Today we are going to take a look for the third time and discuss the Ginault Ocean Rover. This particular one is a newer variation that came out on their website within the past few weeks. This one has a blue and gold bezel, the large maxi dial and markers with the gold sand lume. And it also has a white on black date wheel, no cyclops this time. Everything else about the watch is the same, and the price is the price of what the prototypes and the other models were, is $13.99. So if you've watched the two other videos I did on these watches, or if you've been reading around the forums and you're familiar with this watch, you know the controversy. I'm not going to go over all of that again. I'm not going to go over the quality or the specs of this watch because it is the same watch and it is the same specs and quality as the other one. But it's weird, you know, normally I do a review and it's done. You know, this brand and this watch in the micro brand and forum communities, you know, it's stirred the pot, created a lot of controversy, call it whatever you want. And I've discussed that in the past as to why, you know, the manufacturing, manufacturing origin, and the claims about the movement that they're making it and everything else. And you know, through these different reviews and just reading up on stuff throughout the past few months, you know, thinking about it to myself, of all the watches I review here, and when you're talking about homages and whatever, and it's just more and more things keep popping into my head about these different models. So I asked them to send this other model, this new model, to check out, and I wanted to do another video, and some of you might call this rambling, and it very well may be. And I want to get a couple of things clear before I continue with the video. None of this is to push this watch for anybody to buy one. None of this is me pushing my opinions or my thoughts on you. Everybody has their own thoughts. Everybody has their own opinions. You know, if you're not a fan of homage watches, that's cool. I'm not... Like you see the picture though in the thumbnail and the video, so you know what it is immediately anyway, and by reading the title. So I'm not sure why you're watching this unless you just like to watch negative things. And hey, if that's what you do to enjoy yourself, that's up to you, and that's fine. You know, for the people that like homage watches, whether we're talking about the MK2s, we're talking about Steinhardt watches, and when you're talking about homages of the Rolex subs and the like. So, you know, I've said before that I feel this one is in the upper realm of the homages. You know, when you look at it, even though it's kind of a amalgamation of different Rolexes from different eras and years and different models, I mean, yeah, it's you know, a very close Rolex case and bracelet and bezel and dial and crown guards and whatever. And again, yes, it's not an exact copy of a Rolex that is currently being produced, you know, but the pieces are all Rolex. If anybody sees this on your wrist and they're not a watch enthusiast, they think Rolex. Same could be, though, really said with a Steinhardt, you know, for people that aren't watch people, and any other of those watches. So this really isn't about the homage thing. And I don't consider it a replica, if you will. I personally don't. It doesn't say Rolex. Excuse me, I just hit the microphone because I talk with my hands. It doesn't say Rolex on the dial. And again, it's not replicating a current configuration of Rolex like most of the rip-off replicas do. The build quality is excellent, as I've stated before. The problem still comes down to, you know, are they making it in the US? And here's what's funny. And I was reading a blog website, and I apologize. I honestly, I have no issue plugging, you know, the blog and I can't remember it right now as I'm recording, but I was reading his review and thoughts on an Ocean Rover, and something kind of clicked in my head reading through it, and it was, well, first of all, do we believe everything that every other watch company tells us, and we know it to be true? And so many watches, right? So many companies, they slap Swiss made, and it's only been till recent that they've upped, the percentage of what needs to be Swiss made to be able to put that on the dial. So many companies, they slap Swiss made on the dial, and you're talking everything from an $850, say, let's say, I don't think they put it on there, I could be wrong, but like a TWCO or something like that. There's a bunch of watches out there that slap that Swiss made on the dial. And if you're not in the know, if you don't you don't realize it, many of these companies, there's a lot of companies out there that send the watch, they're made in China, people. They're made in China. There's a ton of watches that are machined and built in China. They are sent over to Switzerland. A couple of things are slapped together and it's assembled and tested there in Switzerland, and it's made in Switzerland. And we, as watch enthusiasts, watch hobbyists, watch journalists, etc., we know this, okay? But if you're a regular person, you want a watch, you walk into a jewelry store, you go online on a website, you're looking for watches, you don't know any of this. Because you don't spend the hours and the days and the months and have been doing it for years and years and knowing every intricate part of all these watches and brands and everything. You don't know any of this. You see Swiss made on the dial, you think of that old man building watches over there in Switzerland, because that's the perception. And you buy it based on, hey, it's Swiss made. Oh, it's good quality, right? They don't know. They have no idea that the majority of it was manufactured in China. It's Swiss made. And we, for the most part, even some of us hobbyists, we look at Swiss made and we think that. And, it's weird, because when we say U.S. made, oh, man, it's like, oh, you can't be doing that here, and nobody builds watches in the U.S. with the exception of very few, RGM, etc., the Stat, and a couple others, So, but we see that U.S. made, and it just sends. Now, here's the thing: is it impossible to do what Ginault claims to do? No. Can I prove it? No. Have they proven it? No. Has anybody actually disproven it? No. All right, so let's take them at their word, because every company, there's marketing and tactics and BS in every damn product that's sold, and you gotta really look into everything. That's one of the reasons we do the reviews here on Watchreport.com and our YouTube channel. That's the point, to get down. Let's see what the watch is like, And people have taken somebody said to me somewhere on one of the online groups or something, well, why didn't you take the case back off? Well, there was no need to. Other people had already before I did my reviews. Didn't do anything, didn't prove anything. The company claims, Ginault claims, it's a clone of the ETA 2824. Problem is, they said that they produced it here in the U.S. with the exception of a few parts in the e-Bosch. So, well, they're lying, right? They got to be lying. Well, wait a minute. Why do we say they're lying? Why don't we say so-and-so is lying that says they had it all done in Switzerland, blah, 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 and they swapped Swiss made on the dial? I don't know. So, where does that bring us? Well, okay, a lot of companies lie, a lot of companies market, a lot of companies have BS. Fine, cool. I think the real problem comes down then to warranty and if you're going to be able to have this watch serviced at time, oh, but wait a minute, that could happen with any micro brand. So then the problem comes in, well, that it's pretty expensive because it's $13.99. Well, Agier watches are like $1,600. Very, very tiny micro brand. We don't know if Agier will be around next year. The guy makes amazing watches. I love Todd. He makes amazing great dive watches. But he's been struggling for years, because he spent a ton of money building the watch, in Germany and having it assembled and no Chinese parts. And he, doesn't have a lot of time to market and everything. And he's not made a lot of profit. I don't know if he'll be around in another year. So what do you do with that watch if it needs a warranty? So it's kind of the same boat with any micro brand, or certain micro brands, I should say. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. If this is a copy of the ETA 2824, parts should be easily replaced. I mean, pretty much you should be able to, at some point, if this movement fails, if you really wanted to, slap an ETA 2824 in there and it should be good to go. You take it to a watchmaker, send it in somewhere, whatever, have them do that, and off you go. That is if you wanted to spend the money to do it if a problem arose. But parts should be interchangeable, and it really shouldn't be a problem to have a watchmaker fix a clone of the ETA 2824. So I can't say definitively, I'm not defending the companies. I don't know. I think they could have been a little more forthcoming, but then that's me implying that they were lying. So I don't really know if they weren't being forthcoming and nobody just believes them and all of that. And I think if they had come out with a watch that wasn't a Rolex homage, that wasn't a Rolex sub homage, and it was like their own design or whatever, and they claimed it, I think people would probably not, there wouldn't have been as much controversy about it, because people just automatically assume, as I did myself, that, well, it's a Rolex homage, it was made in China, and you're lying out your ass about, what you did. Not gonna lie, $13.99 is a high price. Forget about, I don't know if they're still running it, that you can get a discount if you do a review or write up on one of the websites or forums or whatever. I'm taking the price at $13.99 from what it says on their website. $13.99 is pricey. Is the watch really well made? Yes. In my opinion, is it one of the best Rolex sub homages out there? Absolutely. It's heads and tails above a Steinhardt or whatever. Heads and tails, Take a look here. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna just zoom in a little bit here. I mean, it's a fantastic looking watch, obviously. I'll say this particular one thing that I do find a little weird is you have the gold lume, the sand lume or whatever, and you have a blue and gold bezel, which I think looks great, and I'm glad they did a date without the Cyclops. The only thing is, I wish I'd had a gilt dial, because if it had the gilt dial, then the gold on the dial and the hands, or the markers in the hands, would match the bezel. But otherwise, it's a pretty nice variation. It's one of those things. It's funny. I sometimes I'm at a loss for words. It's a great watch. Dropping $13.99, $1,400. I got to stop saying $13.99. Dropping $1,400 on a watch is, that's not chump change. That's a lot of money. For $2,500 pre-owned, you could have a Tudor. So it all comes down to what you want. If you don't like homage watches, or you think this is ridiculously expensive, that's great. I'm still on the fence. I'm not sure if I find it. It's kind of ridiculously expensive. Maybe if they had worked their way up. Then again, if they say what they do and what they claim is true, well, then I guess you can see the expense. I personally think the company, I don't know, try and post some footage, try and post something that proves. I think you need, at this point, at this particular juncture, you need to back it up and prove what you say. At least to a certain extent, I think you need to prove it. But that's my opinion. I do think they built a hell of a watch. And if you really want, if you can't afford $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, I mean, $1,400 is a lot cheaper, and you want a watch that is very, very, very well made. Very well made. So that's my rambling about the Ginault Ocean Rover. I will leave whatever the model number is for this, because it's a long ass model number, and it'll be in the description below and everything. But I'm looking forward to the comments as usual. You could find us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please leave a like or comment here on the YouTube video. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you are not, you will never miss another review. Go to watchreport.com and click on and sign up to our newsletter. We don't send out a ton of newsletters. I send them out every few months or so, just to alert you to maybe things going on, or whether there's a giveaway or just new reviews or whatever. And that's it. I will see you guys on another video soon. This has been Don Evans for watchreport.com. Thanks a lot.